What's the point of camps?
Posterity. God showed me a vision, just sky blue eyes.
What will you wear to graduation?
Pajamas. Actually, I'm from Orikiv, Zaporizhia region. We were into beekeeping. When you lose the home you grew up in, after that, you can't find a home anywhere else. Your home is where your people are. I started trying myself in different ministries. I ended up staying in worship. I lost my people. A Shahed drone hit our little house. Building a relationship with my God is what gave me the strength to cope. God entrusted teenagers to my hands, bringing fruit into these children's lives. Everything in this world was built through relationships. Multiply, it serves as this bridge of love between heaven and earth.
SASHA, hi.
Hi.
It's so nice that you agreed to share your story and the story of your ministry. I mean, what God is doing through you. It's really cool because it inspires others. And that's just great. To start, we usually do a sort of blitz, you could say, or a segment where people get to know you a little better. You get one letter, I ask questions, and you answer them, meaning all your words must start with that letter.
Whoa.
So yeah, it can be a phrase, but it still has to start with that letter. But let's give you the letter P after all. P, ready? Give it a try. So how are you doing?
Passable. Okay. Peter is such a flatbread, you know?
Peter,
Right? Turkish.
okay. If you could be in another place, where would you want to be?
Perched under another tree.
Why don't you like apple trees? What's your favorite part of the club?
Prologue.
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 Okay. So you're currently in the second part of Multiply School, and graduation is in just a few days. What will you wear to graduation?
Pajamas.
Good answer. I think that'll be very comfortable. What quality do you love most in your friends?
Partnership.
Wow, cool. That's powerful. Good. When your team gets together, what do you love to eat most?
Plenty.
You love to eat plenty.
I think it's like pierogi.
Plenty. And then one last thing. What's the point of comms?
Posterity.
Posterity. Wow. Did you hear that? That's cool. Okay. Sishun, you have a very difficult life story, I would say. And very cool values from what I've heard regarding ministry. And I really want, and our whole team wants other people to hear this too. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Where do you live now?
I've been living in Kiev for 3 years now. I'm originally from Orikiv, Zaporizhia region. Since the war started, my family lived in our town for a year. We served, supporting our people, our citizens, and our military. Then, when it became impossible to stay in the city, because, well, there was nothing for the child's development and basically the danger was increasing, we decided to leave.
It was right on the front line, right? The town itself, I mean?
Yes. But it wasn't occupied and still remains, well, a frontline town. Unfortunately, it's very destroyed. However, we will return one day to rebuild it. So we moved to Kyiv and, let's say, started our lives from scratch because our family, we were into beekeeping. It was, well, a large-scale production that was automated. There was a whole team, and unfortunately, with the war, we lost it all. And since we had a lot of honey, I had this idea, and having an art education, I started baking gingerbread, honey gingerbread, and I started decorating them. I mean, all these little houses, gingerbread coloring kits.
Like Christmas ones, right? You call the houses.
Both Christmas ones, and they can be non-Christmas too. It's always hard to start from zero. In your own place, in our place, we're like people of the earth. We're hardworking people. You work with the land, you work with the orchards. Well, it's just a joy, so my heart misses all of that. And here it's a big place, a place of people, of asphalt, as they say.
Well, yeah.
There's a fast pace of life here. It's hard to find yourself, well, peace in general. I think that with this city, we've partially lost our peace. I started trying myself in different ministries, and I stayed in worship. Because yes, the Lord truly endowed me with such a wonderful gift to sing, and over the course of time, it has become a deeply meaningful part of who I am to me.
She says, I sing when I bake. I sing when I bake.
My husband always says, "Why is it so quiet in the kitchen? Come on, sing so I know you're there."
So that's the secret. How long did it take you to adapt to life in Kyiv, would you say?
In principle, I haven't managed to adapt even to this day,
Why?
because when you lose the home you grew up in, where there is a land that truly belongs to you, after that, it feels like you simply cannot find a real home anywhere else in this world.
Do you constantly live with the thought of returning?
With the desire in my heart, yes. With the thought, no. Because you realize that you're returning to a different land now.
And is there an understanding that you just have to live for now?
To live for now, to live in this moment, yes. When you realize that your home is where your people are, that's the main thing. And now, unfortunately, such a tragedy happened in my life, a turning point, let's say, when I lost my people, specifically because of the war. Because a year ago, on March 23rd, a Shahed drone hit the small house where I lived with my family. And my husband and daughter, they went straight to heaven. But I survived. It's just an incredible miracle because we were sleeping in the same bed. How it all happened, I don't understand at all.
What gave you the strength, Sasha, to cope?
What gave me the strength to cope was the knowledge, the understanding, and the relationship I'd built with my God before this. It's one thing to know about God, it's another thing to know Him personally. Because the hope that there is eternal life after this earthly one, that's the first thing, that we'll see each other again, that they're alive. Secondly, the way the Lord worked with my heart, how He restored me, how He comforted me, He showed me a completely different level of relationship. Because I know that most people, they lose hope in life, they lose the meaning of life.
Yes. Was it a step of faith for you, in a way, like a decision?
Yes. And as I always share with people, when you are dealing with this heavy feeling of loss, well, actually, it helps when you approach the situation rationally. When you can step back and look at it from the outside and really try to understand what you are feeling. Just, well, to give a calm and rational assessment of everything that is happening, it makes a world of difference. It really does. Of what happened, then you realize that this pain, it's physical, it's very searing. It starts to destroy you. And people who stay in it, they can't cope with it. Well, even to the point of wanting to end their life here. My choice was different. I said, okay, Lord, since under these circumstances where we were sleeping in the same bed, we were in equal conditions, and I remained, then surely I know something, understand something, or can do something useful. Not only for those who are here, who remained on earth, but for those who will be. So I had a clear understanding that I can and must serve those who are here.
Was there an answer? Did you ask the question, what can I do for you? Or how did it happen exactly?
Yes, I had a question about what I should do, but I love our God so much because when you're in a relationship with Him, you get an answer right away. Well, first of all, for a while, I didn't really understand anything because I was still processing that loss. God showed me a vision between 2020 and 2021, right on New Year's Eve.
Eve?
New Year's Eve. Why a vision? Because if it's a dream, you remember it like you're wandering around in your sleep, and then there are these blurry images. But here, I entered the vision and stayed until it ended.
And how many years has it been now? 5 years?
5 years.
Even 6, right?
6, yeah.
Yeah, quite a while. So what happened? What did you see?
I remember every single detail. Eternity everywhere, like across the ocean. I'm sailing on a ship across the ocean at an incredible speed. And I have this sense of eternity. And then suddenly I'm standing on the water in the arms of Jesus. His eyes, just these sky blue eyes. And He says to me, just don't take your eyes off me. And He starts walking toward the shore. And I follow Him. And when we reach the shore, there are disciples there. I clearly understand that they are disciples.
Not specifically His disciples, but you just see them as, you could say, just disciples. So you recognize them as disciples.
I just have this sense that they're disciples, yeah. Someone's gathering wood, someone's starting a fire. And at that moment, I just sort of wake up from the dream. Then, when life circumstances started to get heavy, COVID hit, then the war, and who knew that my life would just turn 360 degrees? That phrase, "just don't look away," was written in all my notebooks, on my magnetic board hanging on the wall. That phrase was always right there. Storms, I realized he said that phrase when everything around me was completely calm. He was telling me to prepare. He said, don't look away, not just during the storm like in the biblical story, but he said, don't look away when things are calm.
Don't let your guard down, basically. Always stay alert.
And as I was going through all this loss in my life, I was asking God, what am I supposed to do now? What do you want? Because you live for your child, right? You built a life, you had plans, everything. But what now?
That's great. Let me interrupt you because you're talking about asking questions. Often, you ask people what their dream is or what they want to achieve or what God is telling them to do or what their gift is. And they say, oh, I don't know. I just help where I'm needed. But do you ask questions? Often people don't even ask questions at all.
Yeah. It's better to look foolish and ask a question than to never ask one at all. And honestly, those questions are what helped me get to where I am today. But how? But who? But where? And the fact that we follow Christ, he showed that you walk, first of all, on water. Something that's impossible at first glance. You look at me, you look at Christ, and you arrive, focus always. And you reach what he promised in his word. That's why God entrusted teenagers to my hands. A generation that few people pay attention to, one that's almost lost. But Lord, it's such a powerful tool. It's such a powerful nation. I'm telling you, it's not so much they learn from me as I learn from them.
So this is a generation that moves not step by step, but 10 by 10.
Tell me the last skill that you learned from teenagers. You have to discuss all the rules in detail.
Got it?
Why do I say that they will survive? Because at one of the clubs, when they come, we had a topic, navigation and orientation. And as soon as they walk in, we printed a huge number of mazes of various difficulties. It sucked them in for an hour and a half. They're sitting there and solving mazes. And there was a very difficult one, and I woke up. One of them drew a ladder across the whole maze. From one point to the other, he says, I made it, where's my chupa chups? Another one caught on and just drew a helicopter. They have a completely different approach to solving problems. And they never have any dead ends. That's what I really like.
What is the main goal of your ministry?
I think it's encoded in our club's name. Royal Generation. It's a royal generation. Royal generations. I really want them to grow up knowing who they are, because the Lord has chosen our country.
To understand their identity.
To understand their identity and understand their genetic code. And it's not just about us being Ukrainians. It's about us being children of the heavenly King, children of the creator of this universe. In raising such a generation, Christ showed us the example. He showed us disciples. And so this vision began to integrate simply into all areas of this youth ministry, into the clubs, the lessons, and deep Bible study. It bears fruit in the lives of these children because they really have become a single team, a single community who will lead this nation tomorrow, who will write this history tomorrow.
You raise them as disciples of Christ, but they also need to know their purpose, their life's goal, that they too must raise disciples of Christ, right?
Yes, what's important here is not mentorship, but discipleship. Because mentorship raises drones who depend on you. But discipleship raises those independent of you, but dependent on Christ. Because you might leave tomorrow, but the children will remain. And the question is, who will they follow? Will they get lost? Will they be gone? Or will they really continue to walk?
They'll have a foundation
and have a foundation and build on that basis, on that foundation, yes, and lead others.
Cool. How many students do you have today? How many of you?
15.
Well, and it's not just running some program. And in this program, you're the only one participating, like you run everything for them.
There was a certain time after training at GoPlay because I had things that I understood, but I couldn't connect them with each other. Coming to this training, I received tools, really effective tools that connected with my internal discoveries. Yes. And having arrived, I began to serve them. So there was a period when I served for them, yes, at first alone. And when they understood this experience, analyzed it, gained the skill, now we serve together with them.
Aha, so you're already involving them.
Yes, they're already taking initiative. They're already coming up with ideas. And something just incredibly massive is rising up.
Cool. What changes have you noticed in them, in their character perhaps?
When you give them responsibility, they first of all grow up faster. Because they stop being the one who says give, give, give. And they understand that they have that potential, that resource that they can share, give back. Because yes, if it's all me, I, mine, then it, as I say, raises those who will constantly consume. I see. But God didn't arrange it that way. He created the sun to give light. He created flowers to give fragrance. Likewise, He created people to create life around them.
I understand. So then tell me, why did you decide at all and why are you here? Why did you come to Multiply School?
Multiply School is a direct response, an internal one, to this profound vision of making disciples, truly making disciples of Jesus Christ. This school, it showed, as I am telling you right now, that literally in just one single day, you can unite people of completely different confessions, different denominations, and different theological understandings. And we do not, at all, let us say, find ourselves divided by those differences when we focus on the mission.
Have any discomfort?
We have no discomfort, that is, we are simply united by Christ and His Word, what the Lord created from the very beginning, what His plan was, this one church.
And what do you think was the overall goal of the Multiply School team?
I think it's relationships.
Relationships?
It's relationships. If there are no relationships, we won't manage anything. Everything in this world was built through relationships.
So their main goal is to create these family ties. Are there moments that you could say the Multiply School training saved you from in your ministry specifically? I mean,
I'll say more than just saved. It corrected all those mistakes that weren't created by me. But basically, life circumstances turned out that way because we're all different characters. And I'm just seeing incredibly great miracles in ministry with people that even we as pastors couldn't figure out how to approach. Because they influence others, they lead them. But the question is, what are they instilling in them? Why is there no unity? Why do people leave the church because of them? And what the Lord has started doing through these tools I brought, it's just when these people come up and say, oh, I'm glad you're here, forgive me, and things like that. In other words, the Holy Spirit is rebuilding these relationships from scratch. That is what this school really brings. It carries the Spirit of Christ. It serves as this bridge of love between heaven and earth, between people.
okay. And if we talk about, well, not wishes perhaps, but the value of Multiply School for future generations or future students. Yeah, let's put it that way. What is its value so they understand that it's worth coming here?
The value is that this school shortens your preparation time.
Cool.
It shortens your journey and the time it takes to build a team. What you could take years to do on your own, they can do here in 2 9-day sessions. Each session is different, just in a short time, forming you into a single team and handing you the building materials that you provide.
Which are proven, one might say. Cool.
Are you finishing? That's it, the end, you get it, you belong here.
Actually, I really wanted to thank you for this interview because it was very nice to hear about your practice specifically. And the raising of disciples, which not everyone even talks about, not everyone understands. The way you talk about it really reflects how it is for you in practice. It's obvious because your eyes, they're shining. Perhaps Christ told you something after all, not to look away, to look into the eyes. So thank you. Let me give you a hug.
And thank you too.
And have a great continuation of your studies. Don't let us through. Don't let us through. Wait, stop. I'll run over and stand there. Come on, come on. I'll make it.